guys, Andy here, and I'm here to bring you all things Monday to makeup related. If that's your vibe, I'd love it if you would subscribe to be part of my little slice of the internet. And in today's video, I'm going to bring you my January update for the Revolving Door Project Pan. So if you want to see the looks and just progress that I've made on the Beaute Summer Daze palette, then let's just go ahead and get on into it. If you don't know anything about this project, I'm taking every palette that I've previously used, and it's in a wheel and tiny decisions, and it's also, you know, every palette that's not in my pile of shame project pan, and we randomly choose one and create 2 looks with it to determine if it's something that I want to keep or declutter in my collection. The grading scale is an adjusted scale from Beauty and Beyond, who I will leave in the description box down below. And basically, if anything gets a 8 out of 16 or lower, I am decluttering it, period. So the grading scale, I broke the whole thing down in the introduction, but it's based on cost, versatility, performance, and preference at the end of the day. So we are currently on the Beaute Summer Daze palette. I always give a moment to cherish the artwork. I do 2 to 3 looks with every palette, depending on like the size and how much I want to get a feel on the palette, because these are all palettes I've used. So I always swatch the palette when we pull the palette. So the swatches were all right. There were 2 pressed glitters in the palette, and I was just honestly not excited to be working on this. This was my Level Up palette last year when I tried to do that project and just failed. And yeah, so there's that. So you will notice a big change in this palette because I dug out the 2 pressed glitters. Because if I declutter this palette, it's going in the garbage. It's something I got from Marshall's to begin with. I don't know how old it is. So these palettes are not sold on Beaute's website. So it is an older collection. And yeah, so if I declutter these, I will just be throwing them away because I have another one from this collection. I've already decluttered the pinky purple one. I have this one, and then I have the warm one. So I dug out the 2 pressed glitters because if I keep it, I will never use those. I do not like the formula of Beaute pressed glitters. So for my first look, I used this shade Shinin', which was a gorgeous yellow matte. It's extremely pigmented, and I loved this. This might be the best yellow matte I have in my collection. Then I went into the shade Roller, which is this blue here. It wasn't very good. I really had to build that blue shade up, and just, I didn't like it. This blue, on the other hand, which is Fad, was wonderful. It's just a good blue matte. So like this one's unnecessary when this one is just a hair darker and performs so good. Then I went into Mod, and it's just a nice dark blue. It performs nicely. It's not a navy, but it's a dark blue, which I appreciate because there are a lot of palettes they would put a navy and a black, and I just don't see the point in that. But this is just a nice darker blue. So then for shimmers, I mixed the shades Far Out and Freaky for my outer corner. And Far Out it's minty. These 2 shades are like metallic. They're that like creamy metallic feeling. So this was a little too minty for what I wanted. So I added this because it's a nice light green, and they mixed to give me the perfect color that I wanted. And then for my inner corner, I originally just went in with Trippy because it's my favorite. It's my favorite shimmer in the palette. But that turned out too purple blue. So then I did add some of Trippy on top, and then that turned out absolutely perfect. The look as a whole was super cute. I wish the shimmers had more difference in texture because all the metallics are like they're just metallics. They don't have any sparkle or shine. And I want more sparkle. I don't know, just like flat metallics are kind of meh for me now when we have duochromes and multichromes and holochromes, and like these are really pretty. The rest of the shimmers are kind of meh for me. The second look is the one that's on my eyes. So I started with this shade here, which is Vibe. It's a nice mint matte. I just don't feel like it goes with the palette. That's my whole issue with that. Like, I made it work. I used it as my first setting shade, and you can't even really see it. But I just don't feel like it goes with the color story. Then I went in to Foxy, which is nice green. That's the green you see there. Beautiful, great. Then I went into Macho, which when I did Level Up, Macho was my focus shade. That is this dark green you see here. Love Macho. Macho is great. Come here. Hi, Papa. I hope you guys can hear him meowing. Let me pick you up. Oh. Say hi. Oh, bless you. Nope, you gotta say hi now. Fine, bye. And then my outer corner is obviously this Black Galactic, which is a nice black. It's pigmented, it's blendable. The edges do fade to a gray, which I don't love in a black, but like, it's not the end of the world. And the little like silver shimmers, because this is a sequin shade, don't really translate onto the eye. So for shimmers, my outer corner is this green shade here, which is Wild. It's not even like these squishy metallics. It's like a more stiff shade. I absolutely hate that shimmer. Garbage. So then the middle like inner portion here is the shade Right On, which is another like squishy metallic. I hate the shade. I hate that color of like yellow green. Hate it. It's absolutely trash. It's one of the only shades that I hate. I hate it on me. Gross. I did use 2 singles in today's look. So I used Ace Beaute Fan Palm, which is what's like in the middle here, to tie that yellow green into this darker green, because this is like an olive. And then to tie like the mintiness light green, I used Pretties for Your Face Rainwashed as my inner corner, just so you're aware. So at the end of the day, this look, I think it looks great. I do. I hate that yellow shade. So I took the 2 pressed glitters out. That's fantastic. I do not like this green shade. I don't think I would use that. And I wouldn't use this shade. So I literally took out 1/4 of the palette that I wouldn't be using. And I don't like, because I really like the mattes. The mattes are good, and I love these 2 shimmers. And these 2 squishy shimmers I could see myself using. Because originally in my scoring, I put cost. So if we go back to our cost is, so a 4, because this palette would have cost, if you could still buy it, $18. So $0 to $20 is you get a 4 score. I'm gonna do cost per use, but like I gotta use the palettes first to be able to figure out cost per use. So there is that for score, for cost. Versatility, I only gave it a 2 because I only think it's kind of versatile. You're basically going to get like a bluey-ish, which still kind of turns green look, or a green look, unless you just use one or two of the shades. For performance, I mean, I gave it a 4 because I like the mattes, and I like 4 out of 6 of the shimmers because we're not counting those stupid glitters. And then for preference, I gave it a 3 because I would prefer a little more, like, maybe a little more variety. I don't know. I prefer some different shimmers. So it got a 13 out of 16, which means I'm keeping it. But, like, do I need to keep it? Let me see. Let me swatch it against some Lemrose. Nope. That's not the same. That's not the same. And Colourpop. That yellow there. Because the mint, the blues, the green, like, as much as I like them, they're not unique in my collection. I have every color of the rainbow. The only shade that I feel like I would miss would maybe be, like, these two. But even then, like, I have so many singles in my collection that, are they unique? No. These mattes are good. And the whole point of this project is to determine if I want to keep a palette or not. But I feel like I got rid of a fourth of a palette. I'm actually going to go ahead and declutter this. As much as I love the mattes, and I love these two shimmers, I don't think that that's a good enough reason to keep the palette. And so even though it technically scored good enough to keep it, we are going to go ahead and declutter it. Look at me making good decisions. Because yeah, if I kept it, I would dig out this shade and this shade. And so like I said, that's taking out a fourth of the palette. And I just don't think that's fair. I also would never use this blue. I wouldn't use this green very often. How often am I using a black? Like, I would come into this for this yellow, for these two greens, maybe the navy blue, and that's not worth it to keep the palette for that when I have those colors and other things. So, I already pre-rolled for the next palette, so that'll be right here for you guys. And it is the Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson Mini Controversy palette, which will be super easy because it's a 9-pan, so I think I'm just going to try to use them all in one look, to be honest. So we have Flat Earth, Cry on My Couch, and My Boyfriend's Purse. You're barely going to be able to see those. You can see them a little bit. Alright. Then we have Controversy, Diet Root Beer, and My Apology. And now Diet Root Beer is also in the Conspiracy palette. I wish I had the Conspiracy... Which one is this? I wish I had the Controversy palette that had the green in it. But I don't. And it is what it is. And the last 3 shades are Exposed, Canceled, and The Simulation. yeah, I think I'm gonna try and just do one look. Or maybe two looks, like one on each eye, and call it a day. Like this being a 9-pan, I don't think I need to waste my time doing, like, taking up 2 different days to do looks on a 9-pan palette. So, but again, that is the color story. So next month, this should be a rollout for next month, which is exciting. So that is going to do it for my January update. I hope you guys enjoyed. I can't believe we decluttered a palette because, like, I'm not doing this project to be hardcore, like, oh, we're decluttering every palette, but I do want to more manage my collection, and that is an older palette that will be going in the garbage, and that is okay with me. So that is going to do it. I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys!